This is gonna be my last late night video for sure. I'm gonna start painting first thing in the morning so I can stop doing this to myself. I've been very curious about what strong purple actually means. So we're gonna continue our speed paint testing with Moody Mauve. We're gonna hit this cape, this cloak with the purple. And also what I'm gonna do is hopefully finish most of that up tonight, because I have some ideas I want to test out on it. So starting here in this front part, because there's a little bit of stuff I don't want to get this paint on. So just going slow, being a little careful. Yeah, being careful as I throw them across the room. All right, let's try that again. I should probably have a painting handle on, but let's just not worry about it and keep trucking. Right, sure we're focused. There we go. There's a sweet spot. I had it and then I lost it. There we go. Yeah, so this will be like the last kind of late night cheesy one. Not cheesy, but late night short one. And tomorrow I plan on finishing Maximus. And I gotta get the rest of that Infinity Commission built for sure, because I really want to finish that this month and move on to some other projects. By other projects, I just mean finishing Crucible Guard, because right now it seems manageable. It's still quite a bit of figures, but I've just been trucking through it. And it seems manageable, but once I get all that infantry at the end of the month that I got to do, that's going to seem crazy. And so in case you missed the other video, I brush primed this, and then I dry brushed like a warm white, vanilla white. And then I just came back in with a other brush and just sketched in more of the white at the top of these robes, because I wanted to try to get like this worn in, like faded look on this purple. And what we're gonna do is once this purple dries, I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna mix this same speed paint purple in with that warm white and come back in on the final. I'm gonna try to do just one pass of like almost kind of like edge highlights, but with stippling, and see how it looks, because I want to use these Dolmenwood figures not necessarily to only practice speed painting, but I don't really care. Like, this guy seems out of scale to me, and maybe it's just because this is a true 28mm instead of 32, but he just seems like way too tiny to me. And like it's not like the Dolmenwood figures all seem way too tiny. It just seems like a few of them are out of scale, but it could just be like I could be the one who's wrong, you know. And maybe the goat people are just smaller in Dolmenwood. But either way, I mean, it's a cool sculpt. Like, it's a really cool sculpt. I love what's going on, but I just I'm not too worried about the model. It's more about the practice and just kind of experimenting with things. All right, so now I just have this other side. Just gonna be really careful not to mess up that brooch thing. I hope everybody's year starting off well. I'm at that part where I had like such big plans and like routines I wanted to do, I guess. And it's all just getting blown out of the water as we've all been sick, and then this stuff with my son getting cervical lympholytis. I don't know. But he's gonna be fine. His lymph nodes are just got swollen from a bacterial infection. But it's not even a big problem, but at first we were led to believe it might be the thyroid, and then that would have been like a lot for the little guy. I mean, this was a lot for the little guy. He's been really impressed with him. How he's been handling it and taking it, but he's already like super improved over where we started last week, especially after talking to the doctor yesterday. All right, quick hit with the heater, which I have running now. Hopefully it's not too loud, but it is freezing down here right now. So you can see on those spots now, we can see where we need to come back in with the stippling. And I'm gonna take the next highlight color way brighter than like my brain is telling me to do it. Because again, I want the shadows to be very dark and I want this highlight to be very bright. And I think it's probably gonna look a bit ridiculous, and I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but I really wanna try, like I know a problem that I have as a painter is I try to make my blends like too smooth and too not really too smooth is not my problem. The problem is I try to make the gradient from going from low to high. I try to put too much into the transition. So what happens is I lose the contrast because my low to my high ends up not being, there's not a big enough difference in between everything. If I'm hopefully explaining that right. So here I'm just trying to force myself to go from that to this and have it be crazy, and one, like learn how I can take it to be crazy without it looking ridiculous, and two, just like accepting that like that's okay to do that. So that's another reason I wanted to do a Dolmenwood character week, because I can practice this stuff on models that aren't like super important to me. And some stuff I do, like this guy, like I'm so excited to paint this guy. Like I want to try hard this guy. I want to paint him this week and finish him. I want to get Maximus done, and I'm gonna take a break from Crucible Guard, even though I shouldn't. Okay, so I'm just working this out. I'm hyping myself up. So I've got a very small amount, and I've been abusing this brush, so my tip is curled, but that's okay for this. So instead of like trying to edge highlight this and drag it down, I'm gonna go where I would have normally edge highlighted it, and just kind of like very gently stipple this in and like build up a highlight. And maybe I'm already like too thick trying to stipple. Maybe this is the wrong brush for this, but we're gonna make it work. So see, I'm starting at the very top and just kind of working. And I'm gonna go, I think I actually need to go brighter. So what I'm gonna take this all the way down, because I said I was only gonna do one, but I think I am gonna do two. And I'm just like very sloppily stippling this here. That's a little bit too sloppy. I don't want it to look bad. All right, hold up. I'm just gonna go for it. So this is a ton of white right here, a little bit of purple, and we're just gonna take it there. I was talking about what my problem is, and then I went to do it again. So we're just gonna take it there. And honestly, maybe we'll even take it there that way. So there we go. That is there's a slightly tinted purple white. Is evening this one out. Yeah, I think that's a much better where we need to be. And I think I'm gonna switch the brush. Do I have a smaller brush over here? Or at least one that I can get a real point on. Here we go, this one's gonna work. Hopefully a little bit better. All right, so I'm gonna start here and put some dots on this hellacious mold line. And again, I'm just dotting it, like stippling all the way down. Not all the way down, but like. Then I'm gonna stop right there for that shadow right there and just hit it at the edge. And then hit this corner. I'm gonna edge highlight it because that's just how I have it. All right, now here, on this one, this very prominent one, I'm just coming in with this one that's really white. I'm just gonna hit it, and I'm gonna let it ride, and I'm gonna tell myself it's gonna be fine, and that nobody's gonna look too hard at these, and that by doing this pretty like heavy-handed and thick effect, it's gonna make it look great on the at like the tabletop level. It's gonna look terrible if somebody picks it up and is like really staring at it. But I'm like specifically trying to paint to make this guy look good at the tabletop level, and my paint's drying out on my brush here. There we go. So I'm trying to make these like thicker than normal, that I would normally. And even, like, my muscle memory is like still crazy. It's like edge highlight that thing. But I'm going, like I said, just chunky dots. And I'm just following where my dry brush was. That's too chunky. All right, so there's the back now. And when he's on like that tabletop level, when you're looking at it, like that looks pretty cool. Like that's the effect I'm going for, is like, I don't know, you're 2 or 3 feet away from it. You're looking at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's what I'm going for. I'm intentionally trying to paint to that effect. I'm just talking about this now to make myself feel better about it, because in my mind, I just did a bad job with, like, I messed up edge highlighting is how I'm telling. You know, it's like that critic. It's funny, if there's a book called Rational Recovery, and it helped me way more than AA ever did, but it talks about how there's an inner critic is probably a more appropriate term, but it's called the beast in that book. And it's the beast is the one that's always telling you how you're a failure. And I think if I'm spending a little bit more time to do this right on the front, and you can see like I'm very lightly putting, like, now I'm like stippling like I know what I'm doing here, because the back of that robe isn't that important, but right here, like, everybody's gonna be looking at it and seeing it first. And I'm doing this so lightly and gently that the paint is drying on the brush, so there's very little actual paint on the brush, but you can see this effect is a lot better. And I'll probably go back in and do this on the back, but I'm gonna have to let's do it on the back too. Let's do it on the back too. I was saying I wasn't gonna do it, but let's do it. So again, just like very, like, this is the very tip of the brush, barely depositing any paint on any individual touch, and I'm just working it down. And it's wet, so it's gonna dry darker. I'm not gonna do the whole robe like that because I'm not that crazy. But now just coming back in here again, because now the first time the paint was a little bit dry, so now it's wetter, so it's gonna look brighter. So I'm just very carefully working that through. I'm building it up towards the shadow here, and I'm gonna stop and let that dry and see how it looks. Go to the other side, paint it all over my thumb on accident. And I really want to show you guys, like, you can do stuff like this. It's pretty easy. Like, it's not crazy brush control, you know? Like, I've messed up multiple times and I just really quick wipe it away with my thumb. You know, and I think it's still, like, parts of it. I don't know. But I'm doing this to defeat that beast, that inner beast in your head that's telling you, you're a terrible miniature painter. And it's also telling me I should go buy a 6-pack right now while everybody's asleep. But that's probably unique to me. And I'm hitting the bottom of this because normally, like, there wouldn't necessarily be a highlight there, but I really want this to seem like he's been trekking through the woods. This is pretty frayed and tattered. Oh, I forgot to do this side. And I'll keep this video real time. It might be boring, but that way you guys can see like how fast it actually is to go like this. And also, like, I don't know, painting robes sucks, man. I've never painted a robe in my entire life that I thought looked good. And I've painted a lot of robes. And this one actually is shaping up to like not look half bad. And again, I think that's definitely like a me thing. Like, I'm sure I've painted perfectly fine robes before. I mean, I know I have a Menoth. My Menoth robes look good. But those are like, the Menoth robes are just one blue. And I built it up because these scale colors are so dense in the pigment that if you water them down, you just kind of like can just keep painting over and depositing more and more pigment. And it makes it really easy. But again, they suffer from the same thing. The problem I was talking about. I'm just rambling while I'm doing this. But there's not enough contrast between the shadows and the highlights. So like it looks good to me, but I realize like it doesn't look good. Like it doesn't look painterly, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe you don't know what I mean because I'm talking crazy. But also, this is the last video to comment on. I'm gonna do the winner tomorrow. So if you're catching this is your last chance. It's probably gonna drop right before midnight, but it's gonna be your last chance to get in on the drawing, and I'll do the drawing for tomorrow's video. Or right at the start of the video. I'm not gonna like clickbait that shit or anything. All right, I'm just grabbing some more of the brightest white and just gonna work it in just right there and right there. And I think we're gonna call it a day on this guy. This very chunky edge highlighting pretty much to create that. And then I'm hoping once we get more paint on him, it'll kind of really pull it together. But every time I look at this in the camera, I think I need more. But I don't, like, I think you could easily overdo it. So I'm gonna get some of the, actually it's pretty dry right now. I'm gonna do something along the bottom edge of this. Just because, well, am I gonna do something? Is my paint already dry? Dang, that's what that heater gets me. That heater got me. Can I get anything out of it? There we go. It's okay. All right, cool. So I think I put way too much paint on it right there, and it's gonna be dry. Actually, no, that looks fine. If I come back in here, I'm just grabbing some of this contrast paint and working it up out of the shadow because that is a little bit too much. And I'm just working it up. I'm just kind of blending now, just to make it so it's not super obvious what I did. And if you wanted to, you could blend over these and just keep building it. Like the answer is always to just glaze it. If you ever want to make your paint job look better, just glaze it. Cause see, like I can glaze over those highlights now, and it's gonna tone it back down, which is exactly what I don't want to do. So I'm not gonna keep glazing over stuff. But I just got that contrast paint, and now I'm glazing over. I'm not gonna hit the top of it. I'm just glazing over this bottom real quick because I started it and I don't want it to be super obvious. But the answer is always just glaze it if you want it to look good. So boom, just a quick one. 13 minutes. Probably 15 because I had to stop when I threw him across the room. But hey, not bad. 20 minutes of painting, we got the robe done. And I think it looks pretty good. I'll see you tomorrow.